Welcome to my crib. It's the Gwen and Guard DJ Sub. This is apartment 5H. Today, it's just a little bit different because I feel like today I'm just inviting some of the homies over, hang out, and just have like some good conversation and stuff like that. I don't know how I address you today because, I have a show on Power 105.1 in New York City, and a lot of times, you come and you chime in and co-host with me on my show. And,
that's right.
We call you
Emo Man.
Emo Man.
A.K.A. Disco Dave.
Right? And I came up with the name Emo Man because a lot of times his answers was like always like the emotional, super emotional answers. You know what I'm saying? And just, I just had to call him Emo Man. So, so I don't know if you like that name Emo Man just to be straight for our show on Power 105.1, or does that name supersede you all the way?
I'll stick with Disco Dave here, apartment 5H. So Emo Man, it doesn't matter. Emo Man, a.k.a. Disco Dave.
It's all
Dave,
you, right?
It's all
Jigga, Hove,
P. Diddy,
the Blueprint,
Diddy, it's
Love. It's all the same, right?
Symbol. Here we are.
So, like, I'm just in my crib chilling, and then I want to shout out the birthday boy first.
Yeah.
The birthday boy, Hocus, is here.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you're back in New York because I've got word that you left us.
I didn't leave.
You left.
I moved out of New York. Yeah.
Yeah, you left. You left us. And one thing before I get to the next gentleman to your right, why is it that I feel like all black people in New York City, when they get a certain age, they move to the South. They move to D.C., North Carolina, Miami, Atlanta, or somewhere in Texas, Houston, Dallas. Why we all leave?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of us actually came from the South. My grandfather came up to New York from Texas, and my grandmother came from Guyana, and they met here, and in New York, and I think a lot of us leave. It's kind of like we're going back home. I feel like we're going back home. I feel like, I don't know, man, it's cheaper, it's better, and for the things like...
What you mean better? I always hear people say that it's better. And I'd be like, better? What you mean better?
All right, well, let me say this, right? So in New York, we live on top of each other, bro. Like, we all, like, I go to the store, I gotta see the same people at the same store. I hear neighbors upstairs, downstairs, to my left, my right.
Ain't that good? Because we always say it takes a village to raise,
Yeah, I own a home now. Like, I don't think I would have never even thought about owning a home in New York. Probably would just been renting my whole life. Like, I own a house, I have my backyard, I have space. You know what I mean? I could travel.
Well, I live in New York, I have that.
Well, do you have parking? Do you have a parking garage? Do you park in your driveway every day?
Yes.
And you live in New York?
Yes.
Yes. Do you live in New York City?
Yes. Yes.
Well,
well, no, I don't live in New York City. You're right. Okay.
See, here we go. Be honest.
Sugarcoating.
And even if he did, let's talk about the average person. Bro, we stacked on top of each other, bro. I'm from Castle Hill Projects, right?
So you moved to the South to get a parking spot.
I know it's gonna go so. Yo, you gotta be mindful with yourself, bro.
He's setting you up, bro. I already see it, bro.
I'm confused, though.
I feel like I got a peace of mind. I got more space. I feel like, it just, I can't explain it other than the peace of mind. Like, I go to different grocery stores. I don't know. Like, I come out my front yard and I smell the fresh air. And the homies ain't up the block. Ain't nobody over there. I just got a peace of mind, bro.
So you wanted to get away from people?
Do they still throw the newspaper, like ride the bike and the paper boy?
I'm from a volatile environment. Yeah, I want to get away from you niggas. Get the hell yeah.
Okay.
I want to get all the way away from these niggas up there. These niggas is I'm from the Bronx, New York. Okay.
I lived in the Soundview area. I don't know what they call it. It was like off of Bruckner.
Right.
I don't know what they call it. I actually lived when I moved. I'm from Brooklyn.
The Showhaven area, right?
But before that, when I moved from Brooklyn and I moved to Bruckner, and I remember when I moved there, everybody was like, "Yo, this is where Mike's on from. Mike's on." I was like, Okay, you know, because I'm from
So
Brooklyn.
you
So it was
the
like
2000s.
Brooklyn. It was the
like the 2000s. Yeah, you moved over there.
Yeah, so over there.
very volatile. It's still volatile. It ain't as, you know, my projects is like up the block from there, but it's not as volatile as Castro projects. But yeah, that's still a hood. You right in the area.
That's what. Yeah. So I mean, but
That's my own
it was
stopping
cool.
ground.
It was
too.
cool to
Look,
me.
I'm not saying, look, it's cool. New York is cool. It's cool. But it just sometimes some people just want to try something different. And, you know, not only that, for me personally, like I'm someone who, you know, being from my neighborhood, I'm someone who the system tried to take down multiple times. Like, I just feel like I just want to leave. I just want to go somewhere different.
So you
tired
think
of
the
the FBI being
to-
on my back. I'm tired
You
of
think
police
the
being
system
on my
trying
back.
to take you down because of where you from?
Because of where I'm from and my past history and what I used to be involved in. And
But you think that's because of where you from?
of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it got to do with where I'm from and what I'm connected to as far as gang culture and all that. What I, you know, the lifestyle I used to lead and all that. Yeah.
Because of where you was from. So you got into those culture because of where you from.
That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact.
Okay. So you like had no choice. I'm just asking. I don't, you know.
I mean,
This is conversation. I'm
bro,
not trying.
bro,
You know.
we all got a choice, bro. I had a choice, but I made the choice to to be in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you know, if I make a choice, I went full fledged. I didn't play no games. So yeah, I had a choice, but I made the choice to be in the streets. But my choices, I'm not gonna say it was limited. I got 7 brothers and 3 sisters. My father died on us when I was 12 years old. My mom's had 10 kids in the house. Me and my brothers hit the streets.
Mm-hmm.
I had a choice, but it was like, yeah, we was outside. I don't know how else to say it. We was outside, and you know, at a young age, I had, me, and my family and my crew. Like at 17 years old, we had a whole projects to ourselves. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What you mean you had a whole project? Like you owned the projects?
I ain't own it like as far as money wise, but we owned the project. Like you really couldn't do nothing without our approval. Like it was just like our projects. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you was,
I don't know. Can you explain to me?
so like if you, I'm gonna tell you, like,
Yeah, please do.
You can tell Self is an interviewer.
Yeah,
Like,
facts.
I don't
No,
want
but
back
back in
in
the day-
interview, but you enlightening me because we having a healthy conversation.
so back in the day, it was a lot
grow
of
up in
money.
the projects.
It was a lot of money in Castle Hill projects, right? And it was a lot of
I don't understand what you mean money. Like
drugs selling.
Okay,
Selling drugs. Like, I used to hustle back in the day, right? When I was a kid. I don't do that no more. But anyway, back in the day, when I was a kid, a lot of my big homies went to jail. They went to the feds. They either got life or a lot of time. So it's kind of like they snatched up all the big homies at once and left us out there. Meaning, when I say us, meaning like me, my brothers, and our crew or whatever. I was like 17 years old at the time.
But wouldn't that deter you from like, yo, they got snatched up? I ain't doing the same thing they doing.
Oh, nah, it just left the projects open to us and like, this is
But that's
ours.
how you do it. Because look, me, right? So I'm from downtown Brooklyn, right? And the big thing for us was stealing clothing. Wasn't selling drugs. It was boosting clothes, mostly polo, right? And
Shout out to the lowlifes. I know.
right?
I
And
know.
all my friends, one day they went to a place called Franklin Mills, right? I didn't go because I DJ'd. I was like a DJ, and I think it was some record, I forgot what it was. Maybe Nice and Smooth, Hip Hop Junkies or something came out, right? And I was waiting for that record, so I chose to go get the record as opposed to going to what they call a mission. That's what they used to call a mission, right? And the mission, when you go on a mission, you go to whatever store, you go steal your clothes, come back. All my friends got locked up with the exception of one. He had got away. And then my friend, his mother was Jamaican. Mother had like a wooden spoon, fucking him up. Bang, 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 with you blood clot, bang, bang, bang. And I said, yo, I never want that to be me. So me saying that is like I saw the repercussions of their actions, of their criminal activity. So the first thing I said, I ain't doing that. You understand? I'm going to continue being a DJ. So in your mind, your big homies got locked up. That didn't say to you, nah, I don't want to get locked up, man. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to pick up a ball or something else.
They probably figured they had a smarter way. Like, we're going to do it better than them. Okay?
Hey, yo, when you young and certain things is impressionable to like, well, I didn't think that I made money and bro, like, no, I didn't think that just because they went to jail, I felt like, whoa, I should maybe turn my life around. Nah, I stood in the streets and I got into music, like right after they kind of got locked up. We tried that, but I was still in the streets, bro. I didn't think that like I would end up facing life in prison. I know we probably gonna get to that later, but yeah, I didn't think that. Like, nah, I was just living my life. I thought it was kind of like, yo, I talk about my story now, and I see a lot of people be like, you really went through that? That really happened? I'm like, this shit's kind of normal for me, but it's really not normal. The average person don't really go through what we go through in the projects.
Being locked up and stuff like. I always ask people like, so you were incarcerated, right? So I always ask people, what is something that you can do for a person that's locked up?
What you can do?
Yeah, because a lot of times, right, people come to me, and I get this at least 4 or 5 times a week. Yo, you don't know how you got me through my bed, man. The radio, I watch you on TV all the time. And I'd be like, oh, word, all right. No, you know, one guy really stopped me like, nah, you don't understand. You know, like all I had was you. You know, and in my mind, I'm like, huh? But, you know, the way he broke it down to me, I was like, damn, I didn't, you know, I really didn't know that. So I think that a lot of times people who maybe never been incarcerated or never been in that situation don't understand or know, you know, what could we do to help people that's locked up get through their time?
Well, one thing that we could do, I'm going to do it right now. Free S1, shout out to S1, free Gutterman, free little E25, free all the homies up top, up north. Salute to y'all, love y'all for real. Something simple like that, shouting out some names and you know, they appreciate that. We appreciate that. It's recognition. Like nobody forgot about us. Nobody want to feel forgotten. Another thing is send some brothers some books or recommend some books because brothers up there love reading, and it's like they stuck in the cell. They want to learn. So it's like, you know,
how do you send somebody some books?
Well, you could do it either highlight their family and their family members to do it to them, or you could get their address and send it through Amazon yourself because you know you put their address in Amazon and send it directly to them.
Or like Amazon Prime just ships it straight to that
Amazon.
now.
You see, like he don't know. You didn't know that, right?
I didn't know Amazon was being that nice, and it was like, yo, let's ship to the correctional facility. You know, well, I mean, this is why he's a billionaire.
It's actually the safest
I want him to
way.
start talking. We didn't even introduce him. Harlem.
What's good,
What's
buddy?
up, man? How you feeling?
Ain't nothing good.
Chilling? Are you from Harlem?
I'm from Harlem, bro.
Okay, I just want to make sure because some people you have the name, you be like, yo.
Well, you know, the game named his son
from Harlem. My pops is OG from Harlem, born 1935. Like
he used to run with Malcolm X?
He used to run with pretty much everybody, bro.
Okay.
I mean, so it's like my roots is Harlem, bro. So I'm Harlem.
Was it East, West Side?
West.
West Side of Harlem.
139th and Links is where he's from, to be exact.
Oh, the Danger Zone.
Facts.
Oh, okay. Think I know about the Danger Zone.
Hey,
That's the Danger Zone.
now think about it during his time. I mean, he was born in 1935. I mean, so we know it as the Danger Zone from our experience.
Yes,
Think about his
Well, no,
experience.
from your experience. I'm from Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, facts. I mean, when I say our, I'm saying our generation, you know what I mean?
So
But
your father was going to the Cotton Club over there on 125th, right? The Cotton Club.
What's up?
Back then, the Cotton Club.
Yeah.
That's the West Side.
That's the West
The
Side.
West Side, yeah.
Yeah.
So
But that's
off of Broadway.
different. This what he talking about is totally different, though.
Yeah, no, it's
not
still
far.
West Side.
It's far enough, though. Harlem is a little different. You know what? Harlem is crazy because it's like, all right, so you saying 139 in Lenox, and a lot of my friends are from 140th and 8th.
And copy.
And they be like, that's 2 different places. And I'll be like, it's a block away. You know what I'm saying? It's two different, you know, it's just different. You know what I'm saying?
To be honest with you, every avenue is its own
exactly.
jurisdiction, bro.
Yes.
You got 5th Avenue, then you got 7th Avenue, like Lenox Avenue. It's all its own jurisdiction, bro.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But
I agree.
that's how it is.
I'm sorry. But let's get back to people who, our brothers and sisters that's incarcerated.
Facts.
So, do you have knowledge of this also?
Yes, I do, brother.
Okay, so what are some things that you can tell me that people can do for somebody who's incarcerated?
I mean, he pretty much put a nail on the head, just recognition, bro, because a lot of people get forgotten behind the G-wall, man. And me being, I didn't have a bid like as long as Hope, but I did some time behind the G-wall. And I know like it's the small things that got me through. I mean, like someone as small as someone come and tell you, oh, yo, you got me through. That's part of what got him through. Like we have to focus on the small things to get us through our time because it's a lot of shit to go through in the G-wall, bro, and you got to make it through the day. You know what I mean? So you got to focus on small things that actually get you through the day. Some people's reading books. Some people's working out. Some people use religion. You know
I forgot about the workout thing.
You know what I mean? But you have to find your routine, and maybe self was part of his routine and really got him through that day, bro. Because it's survival. You gotta really know how to navigate behind that wall when you're doing your time. So I mean, how you can help somebody's behind the G wall is just pretty much just recognition, bro. Like whatever it is they need, it's not always money, bro. Sometimes they might need some draws, bro. They might need, you know what I'm saying, like the small things is what really count behind that G wall more than anything. So it's just already like knowing like if it's somebody.
When you say G wall, what the G stands for? When G wall?
I mean, it give me a lot of things. Gangster wall, like, you know.
Yeah,
okay.
The G wall is really up north. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? When they say you're behind the G wall, it's like up
I never
north.
been locked up. I got arrested for what's the name license one time. A suspended license.
You had bullpen therapy.
Yeah,
that was it for me.
The G wall, like, you go up north.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
And that was
just the island.
that was
like.
the what's the name precinct I was in there. And the Soundview precinct. Was the 43rd?
Oh, 43rd? Oh, I hate them.
I was there for like.
Should I say they hate me? The 43rd.
I was in there for like 2 hours. I never went, and I missed Sopranos. It was Sopranos was on, and I was mad because I went to go get something to eat to watch Sopranos. I was like, I'm gonna go to a Chinese restaurant, go watch Sopranos.
43rd be thirsty. Yeah.
I missed the Sopranos because of that.
Hey, Rikers might not be the G wall, but it might as well be, bro.
Yeah, Rikers.
Yeah, it might as well be. So.
Yeah,
Well,
I just came from the Bronx, picking Hope
You got
up,
locked up?
and
No, it's funny.
I was 18, but I'm just saying I haven't been there for a long time. I was born and raised in the Bronx, so I ran through all those neighborhoods.
I didn't ask you.
Yeah, you didn't, but I'm throwing it in just because self is ignoring me. And I don't know why. No, just
Yeah, but I didn't ask where you're from. I don't think anyone really cares where you're from.
No, because we talking about Harlem. We talking about he's from the Bronx, and I just came from there, and I was just thinking there was so much traffic, and I was like, man, I haven't been here for a long time.
We was
man.
talking about jail, and then you start talking about traffic.
No,
and
but
being
listen.
from the Bronx. I'm confused.
I'm gonna unconfuse you
You
right
be
now.
Emotional?
That's right.
Okay.
Emo man.
That's why we call him emo man. That's what I'm saying. He said that. That's how we
Yo,
call
I
him.
always want to know why you call him emo man,
I
too.
just
I want
wanted
to know
your
that came
statement to
from.
be correct of why you call me emo man. Now people know.
Now people know.
Now I know,
See?
because I didn't know, bro.
See, it was
Oh,
all
you
a
didn't know
trick.
about
I didn't know why. I didn't know
He
the
just explained
origin.
it.
I'm just explaining.
The origin
We talk
of
about
emo.
jail. Then you talk about, yo, I'm from the Bronx. You know, the traffic. He's like, what? You talking about traffic? You
See,
know
I'm
what I'm saying?
adding context to the.
Yes, you is. My
conversation.
man,
okay.
man.
No,
Emo
you
man.
can stay with that.
Okay, that's all right. So now,
The G-Walls right here.
so now, during the pandemic, I got a chance to really focus on Hocus45th, because one, I ain't really had shit to do during the pandemic.
This gonna get interesting.
And I was up all night, listening and watching. I don't know what it was called at first. This was before the rabbit hole thing. What was it called? Did you have a name for it?
Yeah, I called it down the rabbit hole.
It was
With
late
full
night.
It was
You talking about
no.
Instagram though? And
Yeah,
IG.
It wasn't
Live.
down the rabbit hole.
It was late night down the rabbit hole.
It was.
Nah, it was
facts.
something else.
I think it was just me going live, but after maybe the first couple of lives, I started saying down the rabbit hole.
It's like-
Okay, because when I remember down the rabbit hole, it was like you had like a little picture of a little rabbit, like you had to,
Oh, then I started branding, of course.
Okay, brand. Okay, cool.
like we got to brand what we do.
Okay, cool. So now what made you start saying, let me start talking and sharing my knowledge of certain things?
You know, it's so crazy. That's a good question, bro, because a lot of people know me for being a hip hop artist, maybe.
Yes, because sometimes, right? Because it is sometimes somebody look at a person and 1 week or 1 era or one particular time in the year, you're in the picture with what's this guy from Houston? Oh man,
Jay Prince.
Jay Prince. I apologize, Jay Prince. Shout out to Jay Prince Jr. Shout out to the whole Prince family. You like him, you love him. Salute. You're in a picture with Jay Prince, and it is kind of like the vibe was more of, we are the Bronx leaders of big homies of the gangs, right? And then a couple months later, I'm this politician who thinker or eye opener, third eye thinker. You understand what I'm saying? So how did it change?
Well, I always been that. I just never showcased that. I just never even thought anybody would care that I think like that. Like, so a lot of us people that's like critical thinkers, we don't think that, that people really care. But
Okay.
when the pandemic came, I really thought it was game time. Like, oh, they're implementing their plans. things that I've been reading up on for years.
And in prison. Tell them, because in prison
in
he
jail.
was reading.
In jail, I was reading a lot. Like in jail, when I was locked up, I was reading up on a lot of this stuff. The first book that really like red pilled me was Behold the Pale Horse in 2005.
Let me stop. When you say red pill, what does red pill mean?
Well, you know, if you ever seen The Matrix, it's the red pill, blue pill, and he'd be like, if you take the red pill, you know, I'm gonna show you, you know, what's really going on, and the rabbit hole go deep. But if you take the blue pill, you wake back up in Wonderland and you live your life. So the red pill, it's like when you take the red pill, you're gonna be woken up to what's really going on, right?
Got you. Okay.
So, you know, what really red pilled me was Behold the Pale Horse by Bill Cooper in 2005. So, like, I've been on this type of knowledge, just never thought to speak about it, never thought nobody cared, because when I did try to speak about it, people were like, you crazy, right? Especially in the hood. So, just plain regular hood hocus. But when it came to 2020 and I seen what was going on and they about to lock everything down, I said, oh, it's time. Well, let me go live and let me talk about it. And let me go live at night. And if these motherfuckers want to stay up with me all night and talk about this, then that mean they serious about it. I never use a live feature, bro. If you notice, I never use a live feature on my Instagram. I went live and I started talking. That's how I met Disco. That's how I met Harlem. And it went from every night. We would just go live every night. We would just build.
Did I put you on something or you found it yourself? I can't remember.
That's interesting.
I know a few people did come to me, say, yo, Self sent me here. I was, you know, really appreciative.
I'm talking about more with, I can't remember, right?
I know we had a conversation one time that you told me, you was like, yo, there's this kid, Hocus. It might have been.
Yeah, because I remember Disco came to me with some spaced out stuff a lot of times too. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a fun fact.
It might be a rabbit hole fact.
That might be
Self
a fun fact right there,
introduced
bro.
Disco to me.
Yeah, you understand? Or put them on and then y'all got
And Disco became my right hand in the rabbit hole. So.
Okay. All right.
I think so. Because remember, I was on this type of time, this rabbit hole stuff for a very long time.
Yes.
And funny as it seems, that same book that he's conversing about is the book that I read. It's the first book. I'm talking about the first book I read, bro. I'm talking about from school. You know how when you get books in school, but you open the book and it cracks?
And what's the name of this book?
Behold the
Pale Horse by William H. Cooper.
And we read it at different times.
Behold the Pale Horse. It's a blue book.
Behold the Pale Horse.
Behold the Pale Horse.
The Pale. Remember, Clint
Like
Eastwood came out with a movie called The Pale Horse. So it's about a man on a white horse that causes like destruction, creates some type of like chaos. So when that's the first book I read that somebody gave me. That was the first book in my lifetime that I read from front to back. You know, every other time I was like, I don't want to read this. You know, I read little nips and bits of stuff. And when I read that book too, it really like popped open, you know, my third eye at that point, because I was like, wow, the stuff he was saying was wild. You know, he had documentations in there of, you know, whether it was military documentation about things that were occurring, things that were happening. Whether,
well, like what? Tell me. So
well, I mean, he had documentations like...
Teach me.
He had documentation about that it cost $10 million. One of his documentations was that it cost $10 million in order for them to create what is known as autoimmune deficiency, which AIDS, you know, and that it was manufactured. And then it was put out there and it was tested between 100,000 of ethnic groups and then another 100,000 ethnic groups. And then that just went berserk and just spread like wildfire to become.
It wasn't meant for it to spread like wildfire.
No, it was meant to spread like wildfire. It was just meant to be introduced to 100,000 of A and then 100,000 of B. And then they thought that in time, C, D, and E will get it and it will create some type of pandemic where now you could decrease the population and it will cause
Let me get some
some
more
type
highlights.
of, yeah.
So on page 444, I remember this verbatim. It's an article, he actually posted, it's an article that talks about the swine flu and how the swine flu will, will implement to where we have to all be vaccinated in the entire world, right? He talks about how they was gonna use the swine flu, right? But this book, remind you, this book was written in 1990, 89, 90. And when did they try to use the swine flu? When Obama was in office, right? You don't even remember that. So he was talking about how they was gonna vaccinate the entire world to decrease the population. So not only Bill Cooper, but matter of fact, let's talk about some more highlights from that book. He also talked about aliens. He also talked about how he was a CIA operative, by the way, and he's seen UFOs come out of the ocean, go into the air, go back into the ocean, and then he'll go back to his higher ups and talk about it, and they'd be like, you didn't see what you saw, you say you saw. You didn't see it until they had to convince him that they didn't see it. And what else some highlights from Behold the Pale Horse? I mean, he just talked about so much in his book.
Well,
That-
there's
Yeah,
the main chapter that was very interesting for me. There was what we experience every day was a chapter called "Silent Weapons for Silent War," and he talks about how they're using technology like ELF technology, electromagnetic low frequencies, and that it's everywhere. It's in your lights, it's in your TV, it's on your phone, and all is giving some type of degree of radiation when it comes to the scale of the light spectrum, like UV lights, you know, and that at any time you could be sitting down and get like a stomach pain or something. That's from the frequencies you're getting from the TV or the technology that's around you, or you could get an aneurysm, you could get a heart attack, and this is just from them sending. They could send pulsating signals through the light.
And right now, everybody got smart meters, smartphones, Wi-Fi, got smart light bulbs. I mean, we even got them in here. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Right now, yeah, and they're able to weaponize this technology.
Exactly. And William H. Cooper, he was a dude that like he knew how to tap in to the radio bandwidth, and he used to have like a truck, like a little minivan, and he used to drive around. Like if anybody's seen that movie 2012 when it came out, you know, and Woody Harrelson would be like William H. Cooper. He was like in a UV truck, and he was like broadcasting. That's what he was doing, because they were not allowing this man to continue to speak, hence why this man is no longer in our physical presence.
Right. And how he died was, well, before he died, they actually he had a car accident. Well, they ran him off the road, like literally attacked him, hit his car, ran him off the road. He fell off the side of the road. He lost one leg. So he was still radio broadcasting after that. He actually, like a month before 9/11 happened, he predicted it. And you could go listen to this yourself. This is something that you can Google if you really go search and find it. He predicted 9/11 such and such is going to happen. It happened a month after that, I believe, in November. He wound up dying. They killed him. You know, it is what it is. They killed him. But yeah.
But what did they say the cause of his death?
If I don't believe Bill Cooper was suicidal. I believe that they said that it was some kids who went to it. I gotta really look it up to remember. I forget it.
It's escaping me too.
It's like if maybe if it was like somebody went to his house and killed them or something like that. It was something like that. But he had attempts on his life before that.
Didn't he have like supposedly they say he had was it an altercation where the sheriffs came or something? They had a shootout in the house with some sheriffs.
Like I think it was something like
sheriffs came to his crib.
Yeah, because where he was from, they said it's not it wasn't a city, you know, where there was like cops like NYPD. They had mostly like sheriffs in those towns.
He lived in a town somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, they killed him, man. Come on, man. Like,
So why you feel like people don't believe this stuff, like the masses?
because the programming and the manipulation is strong. Like the media have a stronghold on people, and you know, I think that people respect how can I say it, like, you know, they respect degrees, and they respect, you know, like what they've been taught to respect. Like, you know, like let's say for example, a doctor go to school for this amount of years. So rather than listen to Dr. Sabia or someone like me, someone's gonna listen to a doctor before that. You know, someone who they respect the uniform. And people been manipulated and they've been programmed, bro, to believe this shit. It's the news. It's really the media. Like the pandemic was really the media.
So do you feel that the pandemic was fake?
Well, let me see.
I call it a scam.
You want to go there, son? We gonna go there.
Yo, so where you going today, bro?
wanna
I
know.
would say this.
Today, bro?
Yes,
Where you going today?
Okay, let's go there. I believe COVID-19 was a media. If it wasn't for the news, let's be honest, so it wasn't for the news, nobody would have known what's been going on. Everybody would have just been living their good old lives, walking around. Nobody would have been noticing. Because honestly, let's talk about the first images they showed us of the COVID-19, the pandemic. People in China falling out. In hospitals. No, let's talk about those are the first images they showed us.
They're doing the Harlem Shuffle.
And it scared us. Oh shit. Those are the first images. We have never seen not one of those images yet since. Well, I'm lying. We have seen those images from all the athletes we seen passing out, from all the newscasters we seen now passing out after getting vaccinated. That's another story though. But yeah, I believe that COVID-19 was a hoax. You know, Trump said it in the beginning, but then
When you say it's a hoax, what would make someone or something do that? Like make a fake tragedy or a fake...
Over control. Over control mean overt control over everything. especially if you want to implement a social credit system. If you want to implement a system where everybody has to be vaccinated and everybody has to be tracked and traced, if you want,
so you feel that the vaccination wasn't to cure COVID. It was for something else.
yes.
Well, another thing, you know, that people when they utilize these acronyms like COVID-19, you know, it comes to me, you know, it means certificate of verification, identification, and then the 1 and the 9, when you put the letters to it,
AI.
is 1 is A and the 9 equals I, so artificial intelligence. So when they say that people are being vaccinated with this stuff, they're getting nanotechnology in them that allows it to now set some instructions in your body, so like give information to your DNA to change it, because you cannot patent human DNA. You know, that's robbing somebody from their sovereignty. You know, we sovereign beings. So if they needed to patent humanity, what better way than to introduce something on an inoculation that they could put in you?
What you mean by inoculation? These are words.
Meaning
I don't have a
inoculation mean
GD.
Inoculation mean like shot, something you insert into somebody.
inject.
So instead of calling it a vaccine, we might call it an inoculation or a shot or something like that. You know, it's something you inject to somebody.
Right. So when they inoculated people, and remember, this starts from a very long time. This is to me, it's an agenda that's been implemented from when the chicken pox came out. You know, you needed to start a campaign, you know, like through the media, because.
So you mean Carmine lotion was fake? Like when you had the chicken pox, you put Carmine lotion. You wasn't supposed to do that. That's what you're saying.
What I'm saying is
you
that
know, you never used Carmine lotion.
No, I never used Carmine lotion. I never had the chicken pox.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
So that means you can get it.
No. I think that you was given. So I don't think that. So let's talk about.
Well, the funny thing is now, I mean, this cut you off. I don't know nobody who got the chicken pox anymore. I do remember that.
Well, they got the monkey pox supposedly came
What
out of
happened to
nowhere.
the chicken pox?
No, so let me ask you this: what happened to COVID?
No,
Fuck
people
the
getting
chickenpox.
shingles.
What happened
Every
to
child
COVID?
used
Why
to get
nobody got
chickenpox,
COVID no
bro.
more? The most deadliest disease that ever attacked everybody in the entire world just goes away. Why is it not in the air right now? I never got vaccinated. He didn't get vaccinated. He didn't. I don't know if y'all did, but we didn't never get vaccinated. Why is it not just in the air?
I got vaccinated.
Why is people not? But why is people not just dropping out in the street like this in the middle of the street, like in China? If this
You
is
can
the
tell
most
the way you're
deadliest
acting right now.
disease, the most deadliest plague to humanity that killed millions of people, why people are not just dropping out? Oh, don't tell me about because 5 billion people been vaccinated. Well, what about the rest of us? You think because you've been vaccinated, it's just not spreading around no more? It doesn't make sense. There's a doctor called Larry Palevsky, and he had an interview on Clubhouse with, shout out to my sis Claudine, and he basically was explaining how no one has ever seen a virus go inside of a cell and infect a cell. Nobody has ever seen a virus go into a cell and infect the cell. And then come out of a cell and jump out of a human body and then jump into another human body and then go into another human body and infect the cell. No one has ever seen that. When they look at viruses,
What about somebody got the flu and stuff like that?
let me tell you. When they look at viruses, what's called through electronic. What's the name of it? Damn.
Well, like the MRI type of
No,
thing?
no. When they look at the virus through the electron microscope. It's called an electron microscope. It gives you a 2D image. It's not 3D. It's not video. It is no video. So they look into the body and they see something like a little blob, and they assume that is a virus, and they assume that what they're looking at is going into a cell and causing damage, and then jumping out of a cell, and then going into from my body to disco body, then going in. There's no evidence, no proof of it, ever. Nobody has proof of this.
How was people getting sick?
People,
I got sick. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did. I got sick.
Okay, so
Well, I just finished expressing to you how, as well, the frequencies that they're using is allowing people
put
to
it in the
distort.
full spectrum, not just the frequencies. Give them everything.
Well,
The food,
Right.
the frequencies, give them everything.
Yeah, because also remember, we have GMO.
The alcohol.
Yeah, you have genetically modified foods. Like, why are you genetically modifying our food? You know,
about-
like this nature.
Well, maybe because so many of us, and so many of us
What
here,
that has to do with modifying the food? Because
you gotta make enough for everybody to eat, and people throw food away and stuff like that.
Go ahead, Harlem, and then I'll come
How
back.
about as simple as telling you that there's a virus out there, and not because you think it, now it shall be? How about as simple as them telling you, oh, there's a deadly virus out there, and because you believe it, now you thinking that what is a common cold, the flu is now a deadly virus. You are actually creating and manifesting this shit. See, they understand the technology. They are masters of technology, bro. They're masters of it. So they use propaganda, they use media to paint the picture so that you and everybody else subconsciously could manifest the reality. So the virus didn't exist, but the idea of the virus existed. And a lot of people got sick off the idea of the virus existed.
How do you say that to a person who says during the pandemic, I lost my aunt, or I lost my uncle, I lost my
I say this.
Go ahead.
Let me say this. I say this. Did they go to the hospital? 99% of the time, yes. Was they put on a ventilator? 99% of the time, yes. Show me the people who died in the home in their house. How many people?
But they're getting remdesivir?
Was they getting remdesivir?
So who I don't know what that is. I guess that's some type of things. But how do you say that to a nurse then? It says, yo, I bust my ass. I did 24 hours.
She did her job.
Okay.
She did her job. She did what she was told to do. She carried out the execution. And I don't mean to say it that
not
wrong.
knowingly.
Of course not.
But there was
Right.
Because when you give someone remdesivir
mixed
mixed with a ventilator, it's an appetite for death.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So this is the drug that they was administering was called remdesivir, and then they was hooking everybody to ventilators. And we all know from their perspective, 97% of the people who went on ventilators croak. But they'll tell you, well, that's because they was on their last what? They was on their last what? Nah. Everybody who stood home survived.
So wouldn't a nurse know that whatever these medicines is, yo, this I can kill?
Most nurses don't know. They're there to administer things. They're not
following procedure.
They're not biologists. Mm-hmm. You know, so they wouldn't know. So, you know, I'm not knocking, like I never knocked, like I'm not mad at the government for the things they do because they're gonna do them. And the same way I like to get up and I like to do A, B, and C, and I do me. I want them, you know, I'm not bothering you, don't bother me. It's simple. I'm not here to break laws. You know, you got laws in place, I'm gonna respect those laws. You know, and so when a nurse goes to school and she's indoctrinated with that system in order so she could now pay her bills and all that, she don't know what she's giving you. All she knows is that if there's a pandemic, she's going in there and they're saying, hey, you got to inoculate these people, you got to hit them with these. She's not going to a lab and say, hold on, let me break these particles and these molecules apart. Let me see if there's anything else in here that's extra.
But
that
what about
might
the doctors who give them the orders? Don't they know that?
They don't know. They just doctors. They MD. They know how to give you a heart surgery. They know how to, you know, touch here, touch there, and be like, oh yeah, that's crazy. We might have to give you an MRI
what they
or
trained
something.
to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know, think about it like this: like the pharmaceutical industry actually fund the medical schools. Like, so they're being taught what they want them to be taught. They're being taught how to treat symptoms, and some of them being taught how to do surgeries, right? And so that, like, it goes down the pipeline. So it's like, if you got a pharmaceutical industry that's worth trillions of dollars, you think that they want to find a cure? There's a drug called Vioxx, right? That they knew. You can look this up yourself. That's why I'm bringing this one up. It was a heart medication. They knew that it was going to kill hundreds of thousands of people. They knew that they was going to get sued for hundreds of millions. But they also knew that they was going to make maybe 3, 4, 5 billion off of it. Versus hundreds of millions, we'll pay that off. And this is actual documents. This is not Hocus just talking. You can go look up Vioxx yourself. So like we talking about an industry. We talking about the biggest cartel in history, the pharmaceutical industry.
I do believe that part because I remember going to like Mexico and different places, and the same medicine that costs $50-$60 costs like $2-$3.
Exactly.
And I'm like, why is it so cheap here? It's the same, you know.
Why you think people go to Tijuana or something like that and they cross over, and then now they got worried about getting kidnapped now?
But that's like a real thing when people go to Mexico or Cuba and they go to try to get drugs for cheap. That's a
Medication
real
is
thing.
cheap.
Yeah, and even Canada, people go to Canada. I forgot there was a comedy movie that came out where the dude went to Canada and came back with the drugs, and he was coming to you like, yo, I'm going over there. What do you want? It was like a comedy skit. They come back, and it's just unfortunate. What's happening, and for me, I blame the individual. Because the individual has the capacity to gain the appropriate knowledge in order to subtract himself from the ignorance that's being bestowed upon them.
Sometimes people don't know where to look.
It's all around. Look around. You see something's wrong. Like, you know that you have to know that there's no reason why you need to be inoculated. There's been civilizations here way before the inoculation system started. People lived a long time. So all of a sudden, magically, you had to get vaccinated with something.
So how could you tell an ordinary citizen, no, or you can't, don't do this, especially let's say a person like me that was in my position, in order to work here or can maintain your job, you have to get inoculated?
Right.
Like,
you turn that down. You say, no, I'm not going to do that because, it's nothing more important.
And then lose your job?
Yeah.
What's more important, your health or your job? Because if somebody I know there's people that have passed away because they got inoculated just because they wanted to go on a cruise. So you're telling me going on that cruise to go to 3 islands and then you die 2 years later, was the cruise worth it?
I'm with you on that part, but then what... Now that's the same. I'm saying someone's livelihood as far as their job, right? Someone, I have to work. I have to pay child support. I have to pay
your bills, mortgage. Yeah. What's more important to you? Your life, that child support, that mortgage. What's more important to you?
In some cases, it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. I'll pay the child
you.
support. I'm going to jail.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, I feel you, and I
don't want to be in jail.
And I feel for those people who was put in that predicament, that position, and they had to do that. I feel for those people, but at the end of the day, it comes a point in life where we got to make a decision and be like, yo, bro, it's about fighting for your freedoms. And it's not just like we fighting for our freedom over our autonomy, over our body now. Like, yo, it's like if we let them get away with this,
they're going to start charging you for air.
That's what's really next, charging you for fucking air. Like, yo, you mean to tell me you're going to fire me? But think about this, though. Think about if all those people who would have held out, they came back around and said, oh, we got to get people back their job. Some people even went in lawsuits. Oh, pandemic over. Y'all don't got to wear masks no more. Look at it. Only a few people like us held the line. And they still had to come back and make sure they gave back their jobs. If everybody would have stood up and said, this is my body, I'm not doing that. It was nothing that they could do. If the entire nation would have said, what? I lose my job? What? If the entire nation be like, what? Mortgage? What? I'm not paying nothing. Y'all not kicking us out. Matter of fact, the whole block coming outside. Well, you're going to send all the marshals? Don't touch my furniture. What y'all going to do? Kill us? On live television?
It's not enough marshals.
Not enough.
They would have to send the military.
There come a time where the people got to stand up and be like, yo, this ain't it. Like,
and not stand up to fight, because I'm not
y'all can't have as much control over our body
against the government, like guns against guns, because all you're gonna do is play part of the system that's been in place. Fight in the sense of just don't do it. You don't gotta fight. You don't gotta beat up the guy, because remember the military guy that they might send at you on something called martial law, that guy has been indoctrinated as well. All he thought is that he's protecting his nation. He goes to military school, he goes to boot camp, he goes to the military, and he says, I want to protect my homeland. I want to make sure that if we invaded by foreign invaders, that I could fight for my country, protect my family. So now if they tell him that there's a pandemic and that and people are dying, and the only way you could protect your family is by you make sure all these people stay in their area, and so we can inoculate them, he gonna do that. He not thinking something wrong with that. Now all of them think that they so conditioned. That's the whole point of boot camp, is that they drill you. The drill sergeant is drilling you till you get to a point where you're submissive and you submit to them. It's like, yes sir, and they you can't think anything else.
So then why do we obey laws?
Well, it's a difference between obeying a law and someone having autonomy over your body or what you can put inside of your physical self. So we obey laws because, first of all, we don't want to go to jail, right? Second of all, some laws make sense. Thou should not kill. Like, I don't think, you should be walking around killing anybody. Nobody should be walking around robbing anybody for stuff that they raping. No, so we obey those laws, right? But when you tell me that you have to stick this thing in your body to make sure I'm not sick, right? Let me just put it in perspective. I'm not sick, right? But I might be asymptomatic. They created something called asymptomatic, which says that I can have something deadly inside of me that can transfer over to you and kill you, but I don't have to be sick. This shit doesn't make any sense to me. So in order I don't get you sick, I need to take something that's foreign to my body that I don't want to take. That I don't even know what's in this shit. Because when you open up the fucking package, they don't even give you the ingredients, right? So I got to take the shit. But we found out there's mRNA technology in there, and there's a whole bunch of other things, the graphene oxide, a whole bunch of other things. But let's weed that out, right? Because that's conspiracy theory, right? So you mean to tell me that I have to take this or I'll lose my job so that you can survive? That right there is slavery, bro. That is
tyranny.
That's tyranny. That is a tyrannical government and system that we need to stand up against.
So how did all the governments come together and do, like, it's not like this happened just in America or just in Japan, or, this is like the whole world.
You want to tell them about this?
Besides Atlanta. That's probably why you moved to Atlanta.
I mean, listen.
In Atlanta, you came down there. We was partying hard. We was partying hard in Atlanta.
I mean, listen. There's a thing called, what we call the New World Order. It's been on a false fiat where they.
You talking about the WWE, WCW?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You talking about WEF,
the WEF.
World Economic Forum. Yeah. Let's talk about the World Economic Forum.
Right. So just remember this fiat that now is becoming to the end, and people are going to realize real soon that this has been a plan. You could see it on the dollar bill when it said Norris Oral Seclorum. It was telling you the New World Order. It was telling you that there is a vision that we have to create one currency, under the rulership of one person, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to bring everybody together, and now you see how the things are unfolding with all these now governments saying we're going to drop the dollar now. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to mess with the dollar no more. We don't need the dollar. The dollar's not the superpower. And then you see how...
Yeah, what's up with that now?
Well, that's what I'm telling you, because now it's a digital currency, and then they already trained people for years when they created the Bitcoin era started, and they did the blockchain, and the blockchain is just a system that's instructions that be set so you could put information, just like I told you when you inoculate someone. If you give the information to the DNA, and the DNA the nanobots could splice your DNA and put a new set of instruction, now you could patent that. So now what you do now this is what he said earlier. They smart lights, they smartphones, they smart everything. They're already indoctrinating people because now they want to hit you with the 15-minute smart cities.
Smart cities.
So now in order
what's
for
a smart city?
A smart city
wow.
now is a neighborhood. So now they have to while everybody's worried about Will Smith smacking the shit out of Chris Rock, which I don't really give a fuck about, right? They just changing laws, and they're rezoning everything, and they're making sections like the United States. They already got zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. I think it's 7 zones they have, and they're breaking things apart, and then they're rezoning like what you have. You could build here because this is commercial and this is residential. Now they're rezoning so they could build 15-minute cities, and everything is in the 15-minute city. You don't need to go out your 15-minute city.
Let me give you an example, right? So imagine this, right? So you used to live in my area, Soundview area. So imagine the 10473, the Soundview area. Anything that you could get is within 15 minutes of that entire area. And they have the area blocked off to where you can't go out the area without access, without paying or without some type of access. So they already got them in China. I'm going to start sending you the video so you can see where you have to have facial recognition to get out the gate. And then they open it, and then you go into so imagine.
So you can in the China
imagine being locked in Soundview.
You can't go nowhere else outside.
Right.
But
No, smashing in that city now.
Now
you're going to smash the chicks in that city, bro.
Now
that's no good. That was a good one. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, some say that ain't no good. We gotta stop it. We got him now.
I can talk politics. You know what I'm saying?
We said we gotta stop this. But look, imagine right being locked within the Soundview section of the Bronx. Just imagine that. So everything is 15 minutes where you can travel on, and no cars, bikes, or walking. Everything is 15 minutes that way. Now imagine you can't go out. You gotta pay to get out of there, bro. And it's a social credit system. So imagine this, right? So when we got the rabbit hole of Clubhouse, what we say there will go against our social credit points. So with the CBDC, what they want to do, the central bank and digital currency, it's a slave system, bro. What they want to do is if we right now, we put out this interview, we talking the way we talking. Oh, Hocus Disco and Harlem Points go down 10 points, and points go down 5 points because he did the interview. Nope, they can't go to do the shit. They'll take our money. They'll freeze our accounts and everything.
You can't ride the bus.
You can't ride the bus. None of that. This is what they want to implement. China's already doing it.
Beijing hardcore.
So when you see right now the U.S. dollar dropping it and China becoming this world superpower, it's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like, I sit back and I think, bro, because I'm a critical thinker. Do they want to make China, do the Illuminati want to make China the world power because they want to allow the system to come in? Or is China really taking over? I think that for some reason that they want to allow this social credit system to come in. China, you walk around China, they got your face recognition. It's fucked up in China, bro.
Mm-hmm. I remember, I think they have that in London, I think, too.
And they do have it in some parts of London.
They want us like that. So
can't eat these candies? These candies is no good?
So I'm a vegan, man. You know, why we talking about your candies, right?
No, the Illuminati or whatever.
Because you told him about he might lose 5 points, so he's trying to gain 2 points back.
Oh, you know what?
So he's going to lose 3.
Yeah, you're going to gain some points back eating those.
No, because in Beijing, they have it that the better you eat, the better your credit score is, because they're calling it like carbon tax. You know,
carbon tax,
right?
Yeah.
So it's a carbon footprint. So they able to backtrack how you living, how you eating, how you thinking, how you acting.
Do you watch Black Mirror?
No, what is Black Mirror?
Oh, man.
It's a show on Netflix.
It's a show on Netflix. You got to watch that because they have an episode which kind of explains all this.
Yeah.
Which kind of show like the girl, she going throughout the whole, she got like, yo, oh my God. And it came out years ago. Mm-hmm. And you know these Black Mirror, you got to watch. You know what? Watch every season. Trust me. Every season is what we talk about in the rabbit hole and the shit that's coming to fruition. And when you watch it, you're going to be like, you're going to call us and be like, yo, I just watched Black Mirror.
And you're only going to feel that way because you're going to see episodes that you're going to realize has unfolded.
That's a fact. You remember, you know how now they got the robot dogs?
I saw some robot.
Okay. In Black Mirror, they had that shit years ago. Like one of the first episodes years ago, the robot dog, one of the first episodes, the robot dog come out with the machine gun shooting shit up. When you see it, you're going to be bugging out. But imagine they had that way before they even introduced us to robot dog. So like we've been seeing this shit, like we were saying with Bill Cooper, like, so we've been reading up on shit, just to bring it back to that. I've been reading up on shit like this. Now we're seeing it coming to fruition where I always thought in my life, I said, yo, I don't see how they're gonna vaccinate all adults though. I always thought that, like, prior to COVID, like, I could see them trying to keep vaccinating the kids, but how they going to get all the adults to vaccinate?
Because you can do the kids when the kids are born.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Now, here we go. COVID. They got all adults. I'm like, oh, shit. Niggas really fell for this shit. Yeah.
What do you feel about this whole Donald Trump thing and him getting locked up and going to jail or supposedly theater?
I mean, I think Bragg's District Attorney General Bragg, he's a George Soros puppet, which is really left leaning, which is really Democratic leaning. Look, I'm not Republican, right? Because my views might seem conservative Republican, but I'm not really Republican. But like Malcolm X said, the liberal leftist leaning Democrat is the fox. And our people, black people, were so caught up in this liberalism for some reason, and we push this fucking Democratic shit that we're so confused. So I go against the Democrats, bro. Like anything Democratic, I'm against. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And I think that, you know, at the end of the day, it's a ploy because they don't want Trump to be president.
So you're saying that this is happening because I think he's supposed to run again or something?
He wasn't run again. They trying to keep him from running again. I don't see nobody. I don't think Joe Biden beat him. Joe Biden didn't get 8 million votes. Impossible. It was all a hoax. Presidents are selected, not elected, in my opinion, anyway.
So why would me asking like this with the Trump thing, right? Why are they trying to get Trump out? Like, what did Trump do so bad that it's like, yo, we don't want him here? So
think of it like this,
and
right?
why everybody hate Trump? Most people in our region.
People in our region hate Trump because the news tell us to hate Trump. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The media, like, you know, like I said, with this Democratic leftist liberal leaning agenda, they you know, they push this racist. They use the race card, and they push an agenda where they want things to go their way. Now with Trump, it's like this, bro. Like, I'm not a Trump fan because you know, when Trump had a chance to denounce the vaccine, he actually talked about, oh, it is my vaccine. I pushed the vaccine. And I have a certain feeling about the vaccine.
Operation Warp Speed.
Operation Warp Speed. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, I'm not really feeling them like that. But at the end of the day, there's an internal beef going on. Like, Harlem could tell you more because Harlem always say this. There's a fucking chess game going on that's above our pay grade, let's say. Like, they play chess on a different level. And some of us, we can see it, and some of us don't understand. Like, they're playing the Game of Thrones. Have you ever seen that show?
Okay, I have seen Game of Thrones.
They're playing the Game of Thrones, and we're sitting back like the fucking little fucking peasants just watching. And, like, it's an internal beef going on, obviously. But it's it's above our pay grade. Harlem, you want to jump in on that?
I mean, at the end, you said it all, bro. At the end of the day, what you seen in real life is a war going on between the elites. They got their own battles because they're fighting for the throne. You gotta understand, like, there's a chapter where the throne can be relinquished, and now they're fighting to see who's gonna be the next one on top, bro. And it's in real time, you're just watching these plays play out, and you're not even realizing that, yeah, you may think as far as like the result is all against us, but they're really fighting each other. They're really battling each other for this top spot. And all these plays is like Trump is just another play. This is theater.
It's theater. Trump is a Jesuit. Disco, you want to jump in that?
I'm just gonna say, like they said, when it comes to like the Game of Thrones, you could even see a movie called The Skulls that came out with Paul.
Skull and Bone.
It's called The Skulls, and with Paul Walker that was in Fast and Furious that died. And when you see that, you could see what we are sharing right here, because there's a part where Paul Walker, his handler was like a senator, and then his brother that was meant to be the guy that's holding him down, that betrays him, was his father was one of the main guys from the Skulls and Bones, you know, and the guy, the handler for Paul Walker, they had some smoke with each other, and he helped them, get rid of him, like to set him up and say, hey, do this. And he even says in there, he said, listen, even with us, we have our little friction that we do what we got to do. And then it leads to the, when it comes to the Game of Thrones type of thing. So this is what we're experiencing, because to them, they see us as pawns on the chess piece, on the chessboard. They see us as pawns. And they got the bishops and they got the rooks and the knights running around, being gatekeepers and manipulating, while they got the king and queen. And then what people not realizing, that's all nice and dandy. And then you got to know who made that chessboard to put the king and queen there. So because it's always bigger than the chessboard, because somebody made the chessboard. You know what I'm saying? So
bigger than the players, you mean?
Bigger than the players. And we know that, and most people in their mind, they think the king and the queen are the big players on the chess game. And no, it's who made the board and put them on the board.
And if you want to, for shock value, if y'all want to put it out there, at the top of the pyramid, they're not even human, bro. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
What about...
Well, it's not a bad conversation, though, because you already know that the Pentagon, they went from years saying,
that's right.
They went from years saying everybody went to Area 51 and all those people were back in the 1950s and this and that. They went Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out. People were like, these people are fucking crazy. They're going over there with space helmets and shit like that. Yep. And now the Pentagon comes out and they say, hey, there's a mothership that's out of space that are watching us and might introduce themselves to us. It's like, so we went from Area 51 being a lie to a mothership, Pentagon? Don't you think that all conversations should be to the sky now?
And they
sending drones and probes to Earth. Like,
we didn't say this, the Pentagon.
Yeah, the Pentagon. It was straight in the news. So like one of those big news guys came and said, and you could pull it up, and it came up, all the news was talking about, mothership. Right. And it's like, after this point, who wants to talk about anything else? Because you've been telling us there's no such thing as aliens, but now there's a mothership.
About Trump, let's be honest, why we even talk about Trump when they said it's a mothership? Like, why we talking about vaccines? Why we talking about, the world should be shut down? There's a mothership out there, bro. Like, this is what they said, not us. Like, I'm not saying I believe it. What the fuck? The world should shut down for that. We need to focus on this mothership.
Yeah, where's Will Smith when you need him in Independence Day? You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
Like, what's
bro.
going on
Come
here?
on, bro.
Stop smacking Chris
What about
Rock,
even bigger than that,
you know?
right? I get on Disco Dave a lot because of this flat Earth thing.
Oh, man.
Oh, God,
this is how we're going to end the
What, you
segment
think-
with
don't
this
tell me you're a
conversation.
globe head.
You think we live
He-
on a
No,
small
I'm
dick?
not. I'm here. I'm not a globe head or anything, but
Here we go with the butt. You know what they say about that?
yeah, it looks nice when you killing a female's butt. Anyway, right? So, feels good.
It looks nice.
It looks nice too. Yes,
Word.
it
It
does.
does.
Hello. I think, how do you explain certain things though when with that? Like how is it dark on this side? It's not dark on that side.
Simple.
It was some things I was saying.
It's
to
so
him.
simple. It's simple because, all right, let's, man, I need, all right, this bowl, just get it. All right, so this is the earth. Don't look inside the bowl. Just look at the earth like this. So you got the sun and the moon. It's circling the earth like this. It's no globe. It's not a globe where the earth is spinning and it's going around like that. It's circling like this. So on this side, it would be, if the sun is here, it would be dark on this side, right? Because it's circling like this. But it also moves in a trajectory like this, like inner and outer. And while we got the seasons, the sun has its own trajectory and the way it's moved. Now the moon,
Who's controlling the sun?
I can't tell you that. So there's something that we all need to understand, right? There's one fucking phrase that we all need to say, and we all need to be okay to say, I don't know.
Okay.
And it's okay with that. But people that come and try to explain this shit, they'll try to say things like, oh, it's because it's God, it's Jesus, it's this. We don't know.
I'll tell you one thing. There's nobody going to the sky and touching the sun and saying, move this way. That's not happening.
There's just so much evidence out there in a nutshell. Like, I know we don't have time to talk about all of it. There's so much evidence that shows that the sun is not 93 million miles away. There's so much evidence that from the lies that NASA told, because they lie. Like, all we do is take their information and throw it back at them. Like, we don't have to
How do
argue.
you explain, like, when they be, like, I know you could go online and see, like, the 24-hour Earth, and you see it, like, you see the
Bro, I could go-
horizon and stuff like that.
Of what? The sun?
I can also go watch movie Interstellar. I could go pull up any movie you want me to go watch and see
Yeah, it
the
looks
sun
the
and the moon
same.
and the stars. It look the same. It's CGI. So NASA came out and said a few years ago, they said that, the images that they give us of the Earth is CGI, is Photoshop. And they said it's like that because it has to be. They said because the Earth is so big that a satellite goes around the Earth, right? And it takes
Sectional pictures, like
composite.
Yeah.
Yep. They use the word composite images, right? Composite images is when they keep flashing. And they keep flashing. And they go around the Earth, and then they come up with this circular Earth. So the Earth that they give us is CGI. It's fake. Let me ask you a question. So 2020 and 2021, I believe, both China and America sent rovers to Mars and landed on Mars. Allegedly, that's what they did. I didn't say this. Where is the footage of the vastness of space? Why is there no footage of all these beautiful stars, asteroids? What? You
Because it's dark, right?
No.
It's dark. When we look up, we see a bunch of lights. How is it so dark? Where's the footage of these? Why is there no? It's absolutely no footage. None.
And we're not talking about pictures and the movies they
Yeah.
do. Listen, NASA just came out recently.
If y'all sent rovers over there, why y'all not recording it?
Yo, Hulk, just earlier, they came out, NASA said, massive asteroid about the size, and I don't know how they equate it to this. Massive asteroid about the size of 69 American alligators will pass by.
Nah, they ain't say that.
Yo, you're Mike.
Yo, that was so crazy.
Yo, so then my boy, shout out to John Paul. He said, if you guys are confused, that's roughly about 996 leopard geckos, and that's about 666 copies of William Cooper's Behold the Pale Horse.
Yo, NASA, I'm telling you, bro, it's all cap, bro.
But how?
They never
What
left
makes
this place,
what
bro.
makes what you say law?
No.
If
Nothing
you're
I
not
say
there,
is law. Let me tell you this.
Okay.
Nothing I say is law. What we trying to tell you is this.
well,
Everything,
you saying that no, they're wrong.
they haven't
but-
proven it.
But how you prove it?
I don't need to prove it. Let me tell you why I don't need to prove it. Because when I woke up, when I was born into this world, when I walk around, I see a flat surface. I know there's mountains. I know there's hills. I know there's peaks. I know there's creeks. I know there's depths, right? Like the ocean, and there's depths, and it's a concave system, so to speak, right? I can see, I could go to the Grand Canyon and see that it's fucking deep within, right? I know that we could go in the earth, but there's no evidence. If I woke up and there's no evidence that someone in Australia right now is upside down. You got to think about it. On a globe Earth, think, you just logical sense right now, someone in Australia is upside down, and the only thing that's holding all their organs.
I knew this was gonna come in handy.
Look, the only thing, yeah.
There's no way. Yeah, show them.
So look,
show them.
This is the Earth.
Yeah.
This is us. This is Australia.
Or
right?
this could be us too.
Right,
whatever.
that could be you.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
cool.
Whatever.
Sideways, yeah.
So let's just say this
But
is
remember,
Australia.
spinning. The Earth is spinning.
Yeah, and it's spinning. This is Australia. Someone's upside down, and the only thing holding their organs, everything together, is gravity. So gravity got to be God, because gravity got to be holding
No,
everybody.
this is gravity.
No. But you're not understanding what I'm saying, though. So what is the right now? We're standing up, right side up. Australia is standing upside down. What is holding all their organs and bloods and all that in their brain from fucking their blood for going to their brain? What is holding the butterfly and the fly from saying, you know what? It's a thing called gravity. I don't feel like respecting gravity no more. I'm gonna fly and say fuck gravity. No, there's no such thing as gravity. Gravity is a hoax, bro. Everything is based on design and density. So this ball is heavier than the air, so it's gonna drop. It's so simple. It's just denser than the air. That's it. There's no such thing as gravity. Gravity is a hoax. Gravity was, you gotta think it, right? So there's a thing called the Royal Society. Ooh, you wanna go? So the Royal Society is a bunch of
deep down the rabbit hole. It's
Yeah,
not
we
even
in a
11
rabbit
o'clock, bro. It's
So-
not even 11 o'clock.
So the Royal Society was something that was created as a bunch of scientists who got together and created under the Queen, right? And they was the ones who was gonna shape reality. So people that's under the Royal Society is people like Darwin, people like Richard Owens, the one who created dinosaurs. Dinosaurs is a hoax too. Dinosaurs.
So
is
you're
fake.
saying there's no such thing as dinosaurs?
No, dinosaurs is fake.
Why would you say that? They got bones and all that stuff. I'm
They don't
confused.
got bones, bro.
They don't got bones.
Well, I could show you videos of them building the artifacts in Egypt that people praised was an amazing civilization, and that they were building it and putting it together back in the days where you would think that they couldn't do that. They were doing it.
But they tell you though. No,
So why would they tell you it's no dinosaurs? Like, I
Well,
mean,
this is
why would they
something-
make up dinosaurs?
To give you the theory of, they gave you the thing of Neanderthals, like cavemen, like people
Yeah.
were like dumb, like there wasn't no intelligent civilization, like you came from stupidity.
Let me give
and
you
the
a quick
motherfucker
story, right?
figured out fire. It was like,
let me get a
fire.
quick story, right? And then you
Like
let-
what?
So this guy named Robert Platt, he was a part of it's funny because he's like one of the first creators of the Royal Society. He was part of them too in the 1600s. Robert Platt, he found a big ass bone. He thought it was an elephant bone. Then he said, nah, this is a giant human bone. He said this is a giant human. So Robert Platt in the 1600s said this was a giant human bone. 200 years later, a guy named Richard Owens, the only reason why you believe in dinosaurs, who created the term dinosaur, said, this ain't no fucking human bone. This is a big lizard bone. I'm going to call them dinosaurs, which means terrible lizard. That's the only reason why we believe. Dinosaurs is not even 200 years old. The idea of it. That's not even 200 years old. Nobody found bones before white people. They found, then this was in the UK. This is over there in Europe where the Royal Society started. Oh, and then here go America. Them niggas finding bones over there. Oh, we found one too in New Jersey. The first bone ever found, dinosaur bone, was found in New Jersey. And guess what it was? A hip bone. Just like the other one they found. A fucking hip bone.
Like DOS effects? My legs bones connected to. No, just playing.
Yo, let me get that bowl too. So
I'm just
I'm
saying-
going to explain to the people too.
Yourself, you just got to think about it, right?
So I just want to explain too what he was saying about the sun and the moon going in its
Yeah.
trajectory here, and also take this bowl as Antarctica, right? As this being the white right here being the ice wall, like what they showed in that Game of Thrones. So while the sun and the moon is in our realm, and I call it realm, not a planet, so in our realm, remember water. They've already proven that water is contained in something, because if not, it would be all over the place. So it's contained. Yeah. So now the wall is here. So now the water
Water
the
can't
coins,
stick to a bowl.
let's say the coins in here are the land, and then the water is around here, and it's being contained within the ice wall. Huge. It's a huge realm. So now they're not telling us that there's lands that go past the ice wall. So they had to lie to us and tell us that we're on a globe spinning 1,000 miles per hour.
Well, why you don't
hurtling
want you to
into
go
space.
past the ice wall? Who's they?
Great question.
Great. Well, we already told you who
Great
they
question.
are.
There you go.
Right. And
why they don't want you to go to them other lands out there, but on the ice wall? Why we can't go to Antarctica? Nobody in the fucking planet could go over there.
right, and they got a treaty. You can look this up. It's called the Arctic Treaty. Where
Or maybe it's some people
Right.
over there that's saying, y'all can't come over here.
Maybe. Or maybe when they said that they went to Mars in 2020, like Hoke was saying, maybe they're just telling you that they left this realm and went
they
past
going
the ice
beyond the
wall,
ice wall.
to another realm called Mars, and they're colonizing over there, and they didn't go out of space. Because think about it, for you to go to outer space, they're saying that Mars is far, and it's closer to the sun. If that's the case, because the sun is meant to be 94 astronomical units or AUs away. You telling me that you're going all the way out of space, you're leaving this sphere, you're going all the way out of space, and you travel like Hoke said. You telling me we got a phone with a video, we take videos all day. You can't even eat a fucking dinner nowadays without somebody fucking taking videos of the food. You telling me that I'm an astronaut and I left the earth, that I can't go live on my phone or take a video and say, holy shit, this shit is amazing. I'm out of space. Now we left the earth and look around and show us going and then getting to Mars and then getting there and actually landing.
Did they bring humans there, or it was like
A
Even
rover.
if they didn't,
rover
why
would be-
wouldn't they
right.
connect cameras on there to show us? That will feed back to us. Like, it's just a lie, bro. And like he's saying about the land beyond the ice walls, all you gotta do is look up Admiral Byrd. I don't know if you ever heard of Admiral Byrd. Admiral Byrd is their admiral. He's someone who said, in his interviews, you can go look at, they've been scrubbing it off the internet. You can go find it. Matter of fact, send it to him, bro. I know you can find it. Make sure you send it to him. Admiral Byrd said that there's land beyond Antarctica that's as big as the United States. He said this himself. This is back in the 60s, 50s?
Yeah, he was
But
going
wouldn't
there.
it, so if I'm going by what y'all said, right? Wouldn't the land be around the
Right.
whole place?
Right, yes.
No. Yeah, so
Right.
so let's say this is the ice wall, right? Covering us, right? In a flat plane. This is a flat plane. So the ice wall is covering us. We're in here. Boom.
Right.
And if we go travel outside of Antarctica, now there's other land and there's another ice wall. Boom. Covering that. And then there's
Oh,
more
okay,
land.
understand. Okay,
Right.
got
Earth
you.
palms.
And they say there's 178
Earth
realities, what we know to be realms, like we're experiencing here with 5 continents
So
and
tell
7
them how when they
oceans.
talk. So let me just say this real
Right.
quick. So, like the Doggone Tribe, when they say we're from the Sirius Star, they might not be lying because the Sirius Star is really the sun that's closer to the land outer. So like the stars that we see, they far, but it's the land that's going outward, right? So they far out in the land, and when they look up, they see those stars. Understood? Like if we see the sun.
The thing is, they're not letting people go. There's an Arctic Treaty. You can't go to Antarctica and go past there. You're going to
Why
get
not?
stopped. They're just not allowing. That's
not
part of the
allowed
Arctic
to.
Treaty.
Yeah, no, you
you
can't.
could go
That's
on
a good
Right.
question again.
You
Why
could go-
y'all don't let us fucking go?
Right, there's people that went on expeditions, and there's some people
And
we
as
get
soon
on
as they see
club-
them, what they do?
Right, and there's some people
Press
that go on
them.
expeditions, and you go there. Let's say if this is the beginning, if this is the end of the new land that people can't see, they're letting people go to my fingertips, and they're like, okay, there's Antarctica. You get off. They're like, all right, cool. You saw what you see. Oh my God, look at all the snow and all that. All right, get back on your shit. Go back, and they're not letting nobody unless you sneak off, and then you're trying to dip. And then you go, and then you figure out yourself, which that's what Admiral Byrd. And then before Admiral Byrd, there's another gentleman
William Morris.
that went over there way before him in the 1800s and got past there and tells story. And remember, these are all great stories.
So in closing, right?
Right.
I want to ask you. Can you tell people some words about this man here?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
The big homie.
Damn.
Hocus is big homie.
You want to have me cry, nigga? DMX. He said, can I tell people about DMX? Good brother, a mentor, great, one of the greatest musicians, one of the beautiful souls you could ever be around. Anytime I ever hung out with DMX, never in my entire life was it a dull moment. Like, literally never. His energy was always up, vibrating. Damn. Like, he's just someone who just loved people. He loved people. He loved people. He loved the gutter. Like, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to see his people win. He took a real liking into me for some reason. He told me out his own mouth. There's two things that he told me. There's a few things that he told me, right? One of the things that he told me was, he told me that God told him to pass the torch to me. I didn't know what that means. He said he prayed to God, and God told him, like in a private, and I don't mind saying this publicly because I will never lie on my brother's name, and you know I know he would want me to deliver this message. He told me that God told him to pass the torch to me. You know what I'm saying? And he also told me like, don't ever stop rapping. Like we gonna do this shit till we die. You know. So I got some new music coming soon. I know I took like a year off, but when every time I think about it, I hear him saying, "Bro, get back in the studio, dog." I actually got 4 unreleased songs that nobody ever heard with him, and I never, thought to put him out. I never wanted to feel like people thinking I'm using him for clout. But I could hear him telling me, "Nigga, I gave those to you."
Yeah, put them out.
You know what I'm saying? I could hear him saying that to me. Like, I gave them to you. Put them out. He just always encouraged me, man. Like, this beautiful soul, man. This like, yo. Damn, son. My fucking brother, my big brother, DMX, man. I love this man. Like,
rest in peace.
Yes.
Word, rest in peace, DMX.
Hey, listen, and in closing, like, well, you heard us share here.
Yo, keep that.
I'm not here. One thing I don't condone violence and none of that. So I want to preface saying that I'm not against government or anybody who chooses to walk whatever path. Just let those who choose to walk theirs. It's called free will. We are God's sovereign and free beings, and that's all I ask. I'm not here to fight the government. You intelligent. You doing what you do, and I'm intelligent too. And that's all I'm saying.
And you know one thing?
And you are emotional.
Emo.
And they call it emotional intelligence.
When he seen me taking this path, X was like, "Yo, I like what you're doing. Do your thing." And before he died, he was like, it's so crazy. We was in Atlanta together, and he was like, "Yo, Hope, I gotta talk to you." I hung out with him the night before. The next day, he called me. "Yo, I gotta have a conversation with you." I kind of knew what it was about because he was getting the Def Jam deal. He told me he wanted to give me percentage. He didn't want me to come in as an artist. He wanted me to come in as a boss with him, but he will give me a percentage of the label. And he was like, "I gotta talk to you." I think that's what it was about, but I never got to talk to him because he said, "Yo, I just picked my wife up from the airport. We about to go back to New York. When I come back down, I'm holler at you." And then he died, literally. You know what I'm saying? And that shit just always, like, what did he want to tell me? I think I know, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And that shit always eat me up. Rest in peace to my dog, DMX, man.
I mean, just kind of hard to, after this to kick y'all out my house. But I normally just kick everybody out.